Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to WrestleMania week. It has finally arrived, the finales of 22 with all three of our brands, and this is the schedule right here. This is kind of a promo show going into all four of these, and basically Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It could change, but these are the days I'm going for at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And, 20 altogether matches. What I want you all to do is go to the comments and predict all 20. I'm going to go through all 20. You can just put the winner's name down or something that resembles the winner's name. And whoever gets the most right gets a Rumble. How about that? So it's going to be hard to get all 20, obviously, but I don't know what we're going to do if we have like a 5-way tie. We'll have to settle that some way else, but I don't think that will happen. But you all can make your predictions based on who you think's going to win. I'm going to go through all 20 matches. I'm not going to talk about them a lot. I'm going to just tell you what I thought about a couple of them because they were some really fantastic ones. Especially on night 1 and night 2. I've never been this prepared for WrestleMania. I've really grinded hard on these last couple weeks to get all 4 of these done. I can tell you night 1 is around an hour. Night 2 is around an hour and 5, I think. Night 3, which is Friday, it's around an hour and 15, 20, around there. And then night 4 is around an hour 2, something around there. So I'm not giving you the exact times. And of course you got the premiere clock as well to put in to factor there. So I'm going to go through all 20 to give you the match cards. And I will tell you which night they're from. And I kind of got them in order. They may not be in the exact order, but they are in the order of the nights for sure. And make sure you predict. Even if it's a few, predict. But I prefer you to predict all 20 because the more likely you're going to get them right. The more points you want. They're worth 5% a piece. It's like a test with 20 questions. Each miss is 5% off the 100. So we'll see who can get the best test score. So night 1, which is Tuesday, we got Rico versus Nikon for the Intercontinental title. We also have for night 1 on Tuesday, Abigail versus Renee. I'm going to talk about this one a little bit because this one is actually really important. Not over just the championship, but of whether who's going to go to 23. Because whoever loses is not going to be back for 23. These two really haven't done a lot. The most that they have done is in the last month. With Renee winning the championship and Abigail winning the Rumble. Otherwise, they haven't done nothing for my brand. And the winner is going to get to go to 23 and the loser's going home. So it's more than just a championship match. There's more on the line than just the championship. With these two, for an example, they're probably coming back for 23 no matter who wins or loses. Because, they've always been some of the best. So there's a lot of people that I introduced this year that I'm not bringing back. Or that returned that I'm not bringing back. And it's going to be one of these two. So whoever wins gets to go to 23 and gets to be champion. So, okay. So there's 4 matches on night 1. 4 on night 2. On night 3, we're going to have 7. And then on night 4, 5. So 20 altogether. This match right here is going to be on night 1, Tuesday. The first 4 I say are going to be on night 1. This is probably in the top 3 best matches. Hands down. One of the most extreme. And the faction of X marks the spot and Melissa's Asylum. It's kind of becoming a rivalry. I think we're going to bring that into 23, Vicious and Mobster being a rivalry, because it's really, Vicious is like a younger version of Mobster, and it's old school versus new school, basically. Even though Bobo's been around for some time, these two have been around forever. So, yeah, you're going to get Extreme Rules tag titles on the line on that one. And then our main event for night one, Clifford versus Daniel. And we've been building this one up. So, I cannot wait for you all to see how this one turns out. It's going to be a really good one. And, of course, the whole rivalry started when Daniel didn't win the world title and cost his brand the world title. And Clifford's been mad at him, and Daniel's had enough. He says, you have no reason to say all this stuff, you know. So, finally, they are going to put an end to bury the hatchet in one of the other person's head, basically, is how this is going to go down. So, this is the main event of night one. The other three might be in different order, but they're still part of night one. Okay, then we go to Thursday night, which is night 2 of FLH/Vita. Paul Weiss versus Jacob Elijah Zombie Steel Cage. Night 1 and night 2 are basically almost all 5 stars. I think this is the only match that's not. But I think every match got 5 stars except for this one. It's still pretty good. It's not a bad match. But yeah, it's the opening match. It was actually supposed to be the opening of night 1, but because we are going to have a interesting main event on night 2, we had to have some short matches for night 1. For night 2. And night 1 and night 2, which is dedicated to just FLH/Vita, the matches went from anywhere sometimes to 12 to 15 minutes. This is probably the shortest one of all of them. And then we also have, for night 2, Ted Led versus Malcolm Monroe. Of course, everyone, Ted Led, he loves the United States title more than his own mother. So, it's going to be interesting. But Malcolm's tough. Malcolm is tough. And both of these guys are really going to bring it. Then we have Ladies First versus the Zombie Cheer Squad. Women's tag titles. Last one was the United States. This is women's. This is a really good one too. Top 5 of the 20. Top 5 of the 20. Really turned out well. And they've also became really a big faction. You know how the X Marks the Spot and Melissa's Asylum has gotten. These two have became a big faction also. These two teams for the women's division. And of course, the moment you all have been waiting for, the most emotional match, Newson versus Darius. And we all know that everyone in the world, from the United States to Chile to Australia to China to India to Chad, Africa, is rooting for Newson. The question is, can he beat Darius? And this match is going to be a dogfight, okay, for the world title. Now, you can go ahead and make your prediction on who you think is going to win. But you can also, if you want to add an additional theory, what's going to happen with Darius? Is Newson going to take him down for good? Is Mentally going to take him down? Or is somebody else going to get involved? What is going to happen with Darius? Because they've simply said he's not going to walk into 23. So, let's say he wins. They're going to vacate the title. They're going to find a way to do it. Or maybe they won't. Maybe he will win everything. Maybe he will defeat everyone. Who knows? But everybody has said there's no way he's going to make it to 23 with everybody against him. The question is, will Newson beat him? Or will he beat Newson and then somebody else takes him down, or will he take everybody down? We'll see. But I love the build up to this. I love we got the underdog, the biggest underdog of all time, Cruiserweight versus Darius here. So we'll see what happens. You all can make your predictions. And you can also mention who you think is going to be the nail in Darius's coffin, or do you think Darius is going to walk away and go into 23? I mean, you can speculate. And then we are going to Friday night, CTL. This is the 8-man kickoff match. Probably one of the best 8-man matches we've had for a kickoff. This was actually turned out really well. I'm going to actually give you everybody's name here, just in case you don't know. Starting from left to right. This will be the hardest one to predict because you have 8 options. But from left to right, Christopher, Luke Razorblade, Mr. JR, Okada, William, It Factor James, Lethal, and King Kuma over the top rope. This one was really good, actually. It was actually really good. We also have Ryan versus Jay for the U.S. title. And we have back-to-back U.S. and Intercontinental. Crimson versus Caden for the Intercontinental title. Both of these matches are kind of like fillers. They're not really. They are at Mania for the sake of putting in more matches and title opportunities, which are important. These guys right here, they didn't, get any title opportunities, but I still threw them in, and I still miss people. There's going to be people that are obviously not going to make the whole cut, but what this 8-man allows me to do is, give 8 people a chance instead of 2 to at least be a part of the show, even though they don't have any title matches. So we got Crimson versus Caden for the IC. And then we got, which is probably one of the best matches of the night for Friday, is Joe and Judd versus the Destroyers. This is a rematch, basically, because the Destroyers took their tag belts, and Joe and Judd want revenge, and it is a really good one. It's a really good one. There's some crazy moves in this that I remember, and probably one of the best matches of the night. And then we got Dan versus the X-Patient. This is a highly anticipated one. I know everybody in the world, from Zimbabwe to South Korea to Egypt, is rooting for Dan. And it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. My only complaint with this one was it was a little bit shorter than some of the other ones. And I thought this one could have been better. Obviously, CTL's not best for its stories. But can Dan put an end to the X-Patient is the question. Will he be successful? Will he defeat him? And then we have Jesse versus Daphne. This was a pretty good one for the women's title. And then our main event, Marcus versus John Michael DeSanta, CTL Championship. And this is a big one. This is a really big one. One of the best ones of the night. I don't know. I think that tag match is pretty solid. And that 8-man match is pretty solid. But this one's really good. And, of course, I think John's beat Marcus before. So Marcus definitely, I think it was for the U.S. title in that situation. But this time the title is more on the totem pole. And Marcus is going to get a shot at it. And, of course, he's a former tag champion. John's a former U.S. champion and a current CTL champion. So this is our main event of night 3. And then we go to WTF, where we have Pixar Party versus Management. This one I had to redo a couple times. And just to let you all know, just in case you didn't know, you may ask, why do you redo them? Why is that's not fair, you may ask. There's a couple reasons. There's 3 particular reasons why I will 4 that I'll redo. The first one, which we haven't had a lot of issues with this year compared to 20, is it crashes. We haven't had that a lot. So the second issue is the match is too long. We don't have that a lot. But sometimes matches could go to 25 minutes, and it's like we don't have enough time for this. But the two biggest reasons a redo is called for is, one, the match is way too short, or two, somebody gets into the ring and watches their partner being pinned. And I think that was the case a couple times for this one. So that's why we had to redo it. I cannot stand, especially on the deciding pin. Sometimes I'll let go of the first pin. Or I'll, make an excuse. Oh, he didn't get there in time or something. But when you literally get in the ring and you look at the pin and say, oh, wow, my partner's getting pinned. I'm not going to let it fly. I'm not going to let it fly. Now, if you're outside and you're running, you don't get there in time. If you're in the middle of a move, obviously you can't get there in time. If you're outside, that's fine as well. But when you literally go into the ring and then just exit out, or you just stand there and watch it happen, I am not going to let that fly. And there's been times where they'll go into the ring and exit out, but they kicked out at 2.5. I'll let that fly. I don't have a problem with that because it doesn't count. It still looks bad, but that will happen on one of these, I'm sure. So yeah. But Pixar Party on the left, management on the right. And then we have this, which is an odd one. It's Lincoln versus Plum. And Lincoln basically said, if you want to know why this happened, it was actually because I looked at all of the people that were on the roster on WTF, and all of them, and I know Brandon's going more into management and all of that, so besides him, the only person that didn't have a match was Plum. And I wanted to do an elimination chamber. Lincoln won. So there you go. It was all about looking out for somebody that didn't have a match. He was the only one that didn't have a match that wasn't getting involved in more of the manager aspect, because, Dial Tone's back for Darkness in their team. So he was kind of the only one left, so I said, put him against Lincoln. There you go. Lincoln's got a grudge against him. I don't know why. But anyway, we got the third match of Saturday night. Respawn versus Pizza Party. This is going to be a really good one. We've kind of really built this up. It's taken Respawn all the way to Mania to get here, because they have always been teased that they were going to take them on, but they always fell short in the number one contenders. They finally got a number one contender after all this time, losing to Monkey Business, losing in a 8-way or a 4-way match. They finally get an opportunity, and the question is, can Pizza Party go down or not? They have been very successful this year, but they are going up against one of the best tag teams. So it's going to be a good one. But this match is top 3. This rivalry that we never saw coming a mile away. For the 24/7 title, Devin versus the Random Button CAW. You're probably wondering, what in the world does that mean? Well, when we went to create a wrestler, you just hit the random button and we got him. That's what it means. And this guy wins the championship against a person with a higher overall than him, let me just say, probably by 5 points. I think Devin had like a 99 or 100. This guy had like a 94. And he wins. And you're like, wow, that was kind of crazy. And, of course, Devin was not happy about that. I don't blame him. I was actually shocked. It wasn't supposed to happen. But I went ahead and let it go because it was a fair fight. It was a fair fight. But then we get to the second match. Devin gets a rematch. I'm against rematch clauses, but the 24/7 I don't care as much about. And this guy brings out Karrion Kross and defeats Devin. Now, he still did a really good job. Karrion didn't do much difference, but he still interfered in the match. So then this guy, he defeats Corey Graves. He's defeated Jerry, the King Lawler. Not a big deal on that part. But now it's time to finish things. Because he's going to give Devin one more chance. And Devin wants this title bad. Because of what has happened. And this guy right here, who gets arrogant every week as he wins. Started off as just a random button. And now he's the most arrogant wrestler ever. And he's going to get a shot. So he is going to get a shot at, Devin's going to get a shot at him. And if Devin loses, it's 3 strikes, he's out. But if he wins, he takes the title at Mania. So, and this fight is a really, really good fight. Top 3 for sure. It's in the top 3. Best. And it's for the 24/7. And if it was for a different title, it would be the main event. But because it's for the 24/7, it's not. And that brings our final matchup for the Universal. And that's Ozzy versus the Iron Taylor. And this has been, of course, Ozzy won the Rumble. Gets the number 1 contender. And he's taking on Iron Taylor. This is going to be fantastic. The GM versus the champion. It's not as good as the 24/7, but it's still a really good match. And it is our final match. So, yeah. And I know the GM's in too. He kind of has to be because of how the storyline's going. Since he's part of management. This is a whole management. He's teaming with the other animals. I thought that was funny. So, yeah, these are your matches. So, you can predict them. You don't even have to put the full names. You don't have to say, let's say you pick Rico. You don't have to say Rico over Nikon. You can just put Rico. You don't even have to put his full name. And, yeah, 20 altogether. We're 5 points apiece. Let's see who gets the best score. And it will end on Tuesday. So, after Tuesday, you can no longer put your stuff in. Yeah, this is fantastic. And, yeah. So that's the promo going in. The match cards have been set. Everything has been finished. You know, most likely we will have them out on the dates that I have showed you. If anything changes, I will let you know on the community tab. But it's very unlikely, and I already have these done. So they should be good to go. Hopefully nothing bad happens and we can get them all out. And then after Mania week's over, we still have another week left. We'll maybe go into NBA a little bit or some Rumbles. But yeah, I'm excited. I really put some work into this, and there's not going to be a lot of promos. It's going to be straight up matches. There's only actually going to be one on Thursday night. So, kind of tying into the story. And yeah, tell me which one you're most excited for while you're at it. I think some of the most exciting ones, of course, this build-up has been crazy. This build-up's been pretty good. Some of these really don't have a build-up to them, but I feel like this build-up's legit. This one's legit. This one's legit. This one's one of the best build-ups. This one's good, too. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. And I hope you all let me know what you think. Let me know what you're excited for on here. And at the same time, make your predictions. You got 20. And if you make 10, it's fine if you get them all right. But the more you make, the more likely you you are to be right. I think this is going to be the hardest one to predict here, obviously. This is the one that's probably going to get most people. But we'll see who gets the best score. I don't know what we're going to do if we have like a 5-way tie, though. I don't know how I'm going to settle that. We'll have to, let's just hope that doesn't happen. If we have a 10-way tie. So, yeah, that's the schedule. And thank you all. We hit 10K recently. Thank you. That was amazing. I can't thank you all enough. I couldn't have done it without you. And yeah, hope you enjoyed Mania Week. It's officially kicked off. So Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'll let you know if anything changes, though. So yeah, that's the schedule for this week. And I will see you all later.